Guys, just want to go over a few tips for helping you build up bigger calves. I know for a lot of people building up sort of huge calves can be hard if you've got bad genetics, and it really can be a stubborn muscle group for a lot of people. My first tip for gaining huge or bigger calves is a full range of motion. Now this is critical in calf training. You've got to have a full range of motion. Now if you're doing standing barbell or dumbbell calf raises, stand on a calf raising block or stand, or even a weight plate if you haven't got nothing to stand on. But make sure it's sturdy and you're getting a full range of motion, coming right down to the bottom and going right up to the top in order to get that full contraction, because this isn't like a chest or biceps or where it's got a big range of motion. This is only a short range of motion, so you've got to use the range of motion to the full, or you're not gonna see well, you're gonna see very little results to probably no results. My second tip is how many times a week you're training your calves. Now if you're not seeing results with your calf training and you're only hitting calves once a week, then I would consider definitely increasing the amount of times you're training your calves to at least 2 times a week, possibly 3 times a week. I know for a lot of people that can be hard to fit it in, but if your calves aren't growing, then you're gonna have to try and fit in an extra session or 2 a week to try and increase the amount you're working your calves. Also, you can increase the amount of sets you're doing in your workouts. So if you're only doing 3 or 4 sets, increase it to 5 or 6. This will help as well, because you've really got to get a lot of sets in here, because I said in the previous tip, it is a short range of motion, and there's not a lot of stress being put on the calves in that short range of motion, so you need to get a lot of sets and in order to get a lot of repetitions in with your calf training. This brings me on to my third tip, which is rep range. Now I know a lot of people like to do a high rep range for doing their calf training, but really I like to go with sort of about an 8 to 10 rep range, because just like any other muscle group, you've got to stress the muscle in order for it to grow. And personally, I prefer to do extra sets rather than do sort of 15-20 repetitions, because when you get to about 20 repetitions, you're almost just going through the motion. You're not putting enough stress onto this muscle. Now if at the end of your working sets you would like to do a few extra sets with sort of a 15 to 20 rep range, then that's great. But I personally would recommend sticking to sort of about at least an 8 to 10 rep range, or an 8 to 12 rep range. I personally don't like to go any higher than that on my working sets, and then if I want to do a bit more at the end, I'll do a couple of sets with a 15 and possibly 20 rep range. But I wouldn't usually go up to 20 reps, because your muscles, no muscles are going to grow with light weights. I mean, you've got to put a form of stress onto these muscles in order for them to grow. So I would personally stick to doing a few more sets over higher reps. Now my next tip is having your feet at least about shoulder width apart for most of the lifts that you're doing. This will help to stop your ankles from rolling inwards, and will effectively give you a better overall workout for calf training. Right, and my last tip for getting bigger calves is to incorporate both seated calf raises and standing calf raises in your workout. Now the seated calf raises will slightly work more of your soleus, the bottom part of your calves with your training, and I think that's great to start off your calf training routine with some seated calf raises to really activate the soleus muscle in your calves. and then the gastrocnemius part is the higher part of your calf, the bigger part, and you can focus more on that with the standing calf raises. So you're almost pre-exhausting the soleus with the seated calf raises, and then going on to the standing ones and focusing slightly more on the gastrocnemius portion of your calves. Now, both of these exercises will work both parts of your calves as well. So do try to incorporate both in your overall routine. Anyway, I hope these few tips have helped you, and I will talk to you again soon.